My best friend and I died on the same day, meeting each other in the underworld. We embraced, sobbing uncontrollably. After crying our hearts out, Chloe said, "Just now, I met a tanned sports student." "Exactly your type," I excitedly replied. "And I just saw a handsome, pale, aloof guy who looked so scholarly, clearly born for you." A month later, the King of Hell summoned us. He said the Black and White Impermanence couldn't stand our antics anymore and had gone on strike. As punishment, we had to temporarily replace them. Chloe and I stood on the Yellow Springs Road, holding the soul-hooking chain and the soul-summoning staff, looking at each other. 3 seconds later, we said in unison, "Let's go to your ex-boyfriend's house first." Helping my friend Chloe catch her ex-boyfriend cheating, on our way home, we were hit by a car while crossing the road. The car sped towards us, slamming into the pedestrian walkway. Chloe and I didn't even have time to react. We were thrown into the air. Mid-air, I saw my ex-boyfriend's vicious face in the driver's seat of the car that hit us. Chloe and I fell to the ground. She looked at me. I looked at her. Our faces were distorted beyond recognition. I realized this was the last time we would see each other in this life. This wasn't an accident. It was intentional murder by my ex-boyfriend. He harbored resentment because I had reported him for solicitation, causing him to lose his job, his reputation, and earn a criminal record. I never expected him to be this extreme. My vision blurred. I saw the man staggering out of the driver's seat, only taking a quick glance before hastily getting back into the car and speeding away. The surrounding crowd screamed in horror. They called for an ambulance and the police. My eyes couldn't see anything anymore, only the gurgling sound of blood flowing from my body. Until the first faint police siren wailed, I had lost all consciousness. My body felt light, as if something was pulling me. I walked for a long time on an endless path of blue stone. Finally, the thick fog around me dissipated. I saw the scene before me clearly. Holy cow! A tanned, incredibly handsome guy. I quickly walked up to him. "Excuse me, may I ask where this is?" The handsome guy turned his head to look at me, his voice soft. He looked even better up close. Neatly cut hair, a black tank top clinging to his toned muscles, a row of earrings on his right ear, and slightly upturned eyes that exuded a rebellious charm. This was exactly my ultimate type. Just as I was about to pluck up the courage to ask for his contact info, I saw him raise his hand. An iron chain clinked. The other end of the chain was tied to my wrist. "This is Yellow Springs Road. Go to the end of this path, and you'll reach the underworld." I stood dumbfounded for a moment, then suddenly realized, I died. Did I really die? Thinking of how young I was, only 24, saying goodbye to my family forever. Thinking of the 100,000 yuan I had worked so hard to save, still unspent. Thinking of how that bastard Damon ran me over and killed me. Thinking of my close friendship with Chloe, severed just like that. I felt enraged, heartbroken, and sad. So, I walked along Yellow Springs Road, wailing. The handsome tanned guy couldn't stand it anymore. "Stop crying." Later, go to the registration office, get a numbered card, and based on the date written on it, go get reincarnated. This life story is over. He turned his head and looked at me. Wipe your tears. These things are useless in the underworld. So merciless, so cold. I'm starting to like him a little. Heh, heh. I wiped my tears, just about to open my mouth to ask for his name, when I realized the handsome, tanned guy had vanished. It was quiet all around. Although I was a ghost, I was still afraid of meeting other ghosts. So I ran like mad along Yellow Springs Road. Along the way, I met a handsome, pale, tall guy wearing a white shirt and gold-rimmed glasses, looking very scholarly and elegant. I had run past him, then backed up. This was exactly the type my best friend liked. I instinctively wanted to ask for his contact information for her. But he spoke first. Are you a new ghost? Lost your way? He smiled gently and warmly like a spring breeze. Turn left up ahead. Go straight to the end and you'll be there. I nodded blankly and followed the direction he pointed. Running to the end of Yellow Springs Road, I leaned on my knees, panting, then heard a familiar voice not far away. Wan Wan. Oh my God! I flinched, turning my head to see an incredibly familiar figure sprinting towards me. I recognized her by her running style immediately. Chloe. Ah, I rushed over and hugged her tightly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I cried incessantly. It's because I knew that bastard boyfriend. He took revenge on me and dragged you into it too. Chloe also cried. If I hadn't dragged you to catch him cheating today, how would he have hit us? Woohoo! Is it also my fault? Why are we so unlucky? After crying enough, we sat by the roadside, contemplating our ghost life. Many ghosts passed by, men and women, old and young. The youngest looked only 7 or 8 years old. They hurried forward. Chloe curiously stopped someone. Where are you all going? To register at the registration office. The birth rate in this country is getting lower and lower, and the reincarnation quota is not enough. You have to register quickly to be safe. Otherwise, you'll be unconditionally assigned to reincarnate in Africa or India, and you'll just cry about it. The person said and rushed away. Chloe and I looked at each other. Holy cow! Then we scrambled out of the registration office. We looked at the numbered cards in our hands, despair welling up. The numbers on the cards were so many, I couldn't count them all. Chloe, how about we reincarnate as animals? It's fine to be a cat or a dog in the next life. I silently looked at her. What if we reincarnate as pigs? Never mind then. Let's just enjoy ourselves to the fullest now. But we're dead. Where's the fun? My voice choked. I gripped her hand tightly. Oh, right. When I first arrived, I met a handsome, pale, clean-cut guy wearing glasses. Exactly your type, she also excitedly said, now that you mention it. He led me through Yellow Springs Road, I added. I also saw a super handsome tanned guy, perfect for you. The old lady selling drinks by the roadside couldn't help but interject, girls. Those are the Underworld officials. Those are the Underworld officials. The Black and White Impermanence. You two should show some respect, I asked. Officials? Chloe also asked. Officials. A stable income. Not bad, not bad. Chloe and I ran to the old lady's side and started chatting. Chloe was sweet-mouthed, and I was talkative. We bantered back and forth, and sure enough, we dug up a lot of information from the old lady. In the end, she let slip. The Black and White Impermanence seem to have a few good reincarnation slots. That's a perk for officials. Who are they for specifically? They can distribute them freely. The old lady turned around, suddenly stunned. Uh-huh. Where did those two ghost girls go? Mr. Lucas, are you tired? I'll treat you to a drink. The handsome, tanned guy, Lucas, who was leaning against the wall, paused. He looked at me, slightly raised an eyebrow, and scanned me from head to toe. What did you call me? Mr. Oh, Lucas? Isn't Black Impermanence called Fan Wuju? Did I remember wrong? As I hesitated, I heard him chuckle. Underworld Impermanence changes every 100 years. The person you're talking about reincarnated a long time ago. I slightly parted my lips, looking at him a little dumbfounded. He smiled. He looked so handsome. So, what's your name? I asked, blushing and stammering. He slightly frowned, looking at me with a somewhat serious gaze. A few seconds later, he couldn't help but say, "You want me to tell you?" Now, it's my turn to be shy. Oh dear. Don't be so direct. I'm just getting to know you. His voice carried a hint of a smile. I couldn't tell if it was mockery or not. He said, "You're bold." With that, he turned and walked away. I hurriedly chased after him, but a puff of white smoke blew straight into my face. I instinctively closed my eyes. When I opened them again, the figure of Black Impermanence was gone. 2 or 3 small ghosts nearby were laughing. Ha ha! She dared to flirt with Lord Black Impermanence. She really isn't afraid of death. That's right, I heard today there was another ghost girl who kept clinging to Lord White Impermanence. She must be sick. I thought they were the sick ones. What's there to be afraid of death? Aren't we all dead already? After a month of chasing love, I didn't gain anything. Oh, I can't say that. I did gain a little. At least I knew his name. Lucas. I turned my head to look at Chloe, and we both sighed. Sis, are we still waiting downstairs at the Underworld office building? Of course we are. What else can we do? We sat downstairs, bored, waiting. But we didn't wait for the Black and White Impermanence. Instead, we waited for Oxhead and Horseface. They stopped in front of us. Oxhead said, "You are Song 1. Horseface added, "You are Chloe." We nodded blankly. "Come on, come with us. The King of Hell wants to see you." We were startled. Why? Disturbing public order in the underworld, harassing officials. Before we could object, they picked us up and dragged us upstairs. Passing ghosts pointed at us. I quickly covered my face. Even as a ghost, I needed some dignity. Chloe and I were taken to the office on the top floor. The office door opened. A successful man in a smart suit looked up from a pile of documents. This was the King of Hell. Are these the two? Yes, Oxhead. The King of Hell pushed his glasses up his nose, squinting as he evaluated us. Chloe and I immediately knelt. Your Majesty, spare this ghost's life. The King of Hell looked at the documents in his hand. Originally, I didn't want to pursue this matter. We breathed a sigh of relief. widened our eyes. Lucas and Simon have gone on strike because of you two. This has caused a great deal of trouble. Strike. Gone on strike. The King of Hell held up 2 papers that arrived last night. They said they couldn't stand the disturbance and went out for a vacation. The work in the Underworld has been heavy these past few years, and manpower is insufficient. If those 2 go on strike, the Underworld will have operational problems. Chloe asked blankly, "Is this our fault?" The King of Hell smiled. What else? He looked bright on the outside, but when he smiled, he was as terrifying as a poisonous snake. I quickly said, We'll take responsibility. How do you suggest we remedy this?" The King of Hell smiled again, then waved his hand. Chloe and I were blown away by a strong gust of wind. The wind was so strong and fierce that we couldn't open our eyes. When the wind subsided, we tumbled onto Yellow Springs Road. We held the soul-hooking chain and the soul-summoning staff, turning to look at each other. The ethereal voice of the King of Hell echoed in our ears. Before Lucas and Simon return, you two will temporarily replace them as the Black and White Impermanence. This is the list of those who died today. Go on now. A flash of white light and a piece of paper appeared in my hand. Inside were densely packed names. After just a second, I crumpled the list and stuffed it into my pocket. Chloe anxiously said, "I haven't even seen clearly whose soul to hook first." I silently turned to look at her. "Chloe, now that we have power, shouldn't we forget our true nature?" Chloe looked at me, dumbfounded for 3 seconds, then suddenly understood. "Now we are the Black and White Impermanence. We can hook whoever's soul we want." Chloe was a little worried. "What if the King of Hell punishes us?" I hugged my forehead, laughing wryly. "We're already dead. Are ghosts afraid of being possessed by other ghosts?" "You're right." After looking at each other for 3 seconds on Yellow Springs Road, we said in unison, "Then, let's go to your ex-boyfriend's house first." Finally, we decided to go to my ex-boyfriend's house first. He deserved death more. I dragged the soul-hooking chain, and Chloe carried the soul-summoning staff, charging menacingly along Yellow Springs Road. Damon, after running over Chloe and me, fled, but was caught not long after. He was currently detained in a temporary holding cell. Chloe and I arrived just after 11 p.m. It was pitch black. Damon was locked in the cell, but showed no panic. He was bragging to the person in the adjacent cell. "I won't be locked up long. I'm about to be released." The other person was stunned. "Didn't they say you ran over 2 girls?" "Damn it. They're dead." Damon cursed, then sneered. "My uncle is the mayor, and my mom even got me some schizophrenia certificate. You think they can send me to jail? Too naive." The other person immediately clung to the bars. "You're so cool, big bro. Can you help me too? I only stole a few small things. Help me get out, big bro." "Big bro," the person called a few times. Damon didn't react, only stared blankly behind him, his expression a little panicked. Suddenly, he raised his hand and rubbed his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, I was upside down, my face inches from his, smiling. Honey, miss me? Wah. Damon screamed in terror, falling to the ground. He kept backing away until he hit something. He reflexively looked up. Mountain? Oh, say. Chloe was standing behind him, leaning down to look at him. Hello. Wah! Damon scrambled to his feet like a madman, pounding on the iron door. Open the door! Quickly, let me out! There are ghosts inside, he screamed loudly, and a police officer was running towards them. The man watching nearby was surprised. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? Ghosts! There are 2 ghost girls, don't you see? Don't see. The man was stunned, then said, Aren't those the 2 girls you ran over, coming for revenge? Revenge. This word echoed repeatedly in Damon's head. His face turned pale, and cold sweat poured down. He squeezed his eyes shut, kneeling on the ground, kowtowing repeatedly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Spare me. Spare my life. Chloe and I looked at each other and lunged forward. She pried open Damon's eyelids. I pressed my ghostly face close. Damon, I died so tragically. Will you come down here and keep me company? Damon, you know I can't live without you. Damon's eyes rolled back in terror, saliva uncontrollably dripping. Suddenly, we smelled a pungent odor. Looking down, Damon's pants were wet. He had been so scared, he had a mental breakdown, his mind in a frenzy. Chloe, that's enough. At this moment, the soul is most unstable. I clapped my hands, pulled the soul-hooking chain from my waist, and swung it towards him. We hooked Damon's soul. Along the way, we also found the new souls on the list the King of Hell had given us. They lined up behind us. Chloe and I were exhausted. I finished checking the list. All hooked. Let's go. Chloe asked. Go where? To hook your ex-boyfriend's soul, of course. Chloe waved her hand. Next time. I'm too tired. Let's go home and rest. I thought for a moment. All right. It's not convenient to move with so many souls anyway. We led them on to Yellow Springs Road. By this time, Damon finally regained consciousness. Where is this? Who are you? I want to go home. I want to go home. He screamed loudly behind us. I turned around and gave him a resounding slap. Shut up! Damon was stunned by the slap. He looked blankly at Chloe and me, then turned to look at the group of new ghosts with lifeless eyes still in a daze. Finally, he trembled and asked, Where is this? Yellow Springs Road, of course. Chloe poked his head with her finger. Damon, your karma has caught up to you. Damon cried and wailed the whole way. I had to cover his mouth. Ano darating ni Alziwanis. She why. We led the group of new ghosts across Yellow Springs Road. We handed them over to the responsible ghost messenger. The ghost messenger recorded without looking up. October 8th, 25 new ghosts arrived in the Underworld, 13 female, 12 male. None missing, right? None missing. None extra, right? None extra. That's good, he said. If there's a shortage, it can still be remedied. But If a ghost messenger accidentally hooks the soul of a living person to the underworld, that's big trouble. That's a crime punishable by descending into the oil pan. Oil pan. I widened my eyes. Chloe winced. The ghost messenger looked at us. What's wrong? Nothing. I grinned. You just continue your work. We'll be going first. I pulled Chloe away, dragging Damon out from among the new ghosts. After countless difficulties, avoiding the eyes of other ghosts, we finally brought him to our temporary residence. All ghosts registered and waiting for reincarnation have a temporary residence, which is like a city with a special system. Chloe tied him up with a rope and threw him into the bathroom. Then we sat on chairs, swinging our legs nervously. Does descending into the oil pan hurt? Of course it hurts. Just hearing about it sounds painful. So what do we do now? Is there any way to make Damon turn into dust? But what if the underworld checks the records and they don't match? Damon in the bathroom heard our words and pounded on the bathroom door. Chloe looked at the bathroom. How about we let him go? I thought for a moment. Do you mean that next time we go out, we'll take him back? That's right. We thought it was a brilliant idea, but we forgot one thing. Chloe and I were only temporary ghost messengers. Just as we were rubbing our hands, preparing to take Damon out next time, we were informed that Lucas and Simon had returned from their vacation. We're not needed anymore. We're not needed anymore. So what about Damon? Chloe and I decided to split up and find the two Lord Impermanents to inquire about the situation. Lucas had just left the Underworld office building when I saw him. So, without hesitation, I approached him. Lord Lucas, welcome back from your vacation. How was it? Did you have fun? Lucas glanced at me. I heard that while Simon and I were away, you and your friend replaced us. Yes, that's right. I behaved obediently. We were honored to step in. Lucas evaluated me. How did it feel? It didn't feel bad at all. So, next time, you two will go again? My eyes lit up. Really? Lucas narrowed his eyes. I realized I was too eager and recoiled. That wouldn't be very convenient. Lucas didn't say anything, then suddenly took a step closer to me. He leaned in slightly, his nostrils twitching. I suddenly remembered what I had heard from the old lady selling drinks. She said the Black and White Impermanence had very keen noses and could smell the souls of the living. I had been in contact with Damon for so long. I must have his smell on me. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Lucas frowned, getting closer and closer to me. My mind was in a whirl. Seeing that he was about to speak, I suddenly had an idea. I leaned in and kissed him lightly on the lips. Lucas froze, his eyeballs slowly moving, looking at me in disbelief. Oh, you! I'm just playing an old ghost bullying a new ghost trick. Lord Lucas, leaning so close to me, weren't you asking for a kiss? Now, are you satisfied? Oh dear, how embarrassing. With that, I didn't care about his reaction, turned around and ran. All I could think of was, oh no, oh no. I'm going down to the oil pan soon. I need to quickly go back and discuss countermeasures with Chloe. I ran too fast, not noticing Lucas standing there, stunned for a long time. He reached up and touched his lips, his ears turning a faint pink. The little ghosts who witnessed the entire process were laughing their guts out. Lord Black Impermanence was taken advantage of by that ghost girl. Wow, Lord Black Impermanence is that innocent. A kiss made his ears red. Don't you know? Lord Lucas was only 19 when he came to the Underworld. No one has dared to tease him all these years. That ghost girl must be the first one. Moreover, the era when Lord Lucas was alive was very pure. For 3 consecutive days, I wandered around the Underworld. Chloe said some old ghosts here knew a lot and told me to ask around. Who knows, maybe someone would know how to solve the problem. But after 3 days of wandering, I didn't get any useful information. Just as I was about to go home, passing a dark alley, I heard a very faint sobbing sound. I stopped and turned to look, only to see an old lady with silver hair fallen on the ground. Several male ghosts who didn't look like good ghosts ran up, snatching the joss paper and gold ingots from her hands. These past few days, I hadn't collected any useful news, but I had gathered quite a bit of miscellaneous information. I also knew that the Underworld, just like the human world, was a place where the strong bullied the weak. Elderly people, after dying and entering the Underworld, not only were their reincarnation slots delayed, but they were also very easily bullied. Ghosts couldn't be injured or die, so those ghosts would bully weaker ghosts to vent the frustrations they encountered in life. Since nothing bad happened to them, they became even more arrogant. That old lady looked very old, which instantly reminded me of my grandmother. She passed away last year. Before she passed, she kept hoping to see me one last time. But because I was busy with work, I kept postponing it, and my job wouldn't give me time off. By the time I finished the resignation procedures and rushed back, it was too late. The kind old lady who used to smile in my memories had become a cold urn. No one would subtly slip candy into my pocket by holding my hand anymore. I felt a little dazed, my eyes suddenly stinging, and I couldn't help but wonder if that kind old lady was being bullied in the Underworld after she died. Stop! I didn't even have time to think. I instinctively rushed forward. I helped the old lady up, shielding her. Where did this little brat come from? Get lost! 2 male ghosts smirked at me, reaching out and pushing my shoulder. I staggered a step, then immediately stood straight again. You guys are bold. Do you know who I am? They looked at each other, suspiciously evaluating me. Who are you? I cleared my throat. I'm Lucas's girlfriend. They were stunned for a moment, then burst out laughing. I felt a little embarrassed, touching my nose. Is it that funny? Do ghosts not fall in love in the Underworld? Oh, come to think of it, that's right. After falling in love for a short while, you have to drink the forgetfulness potion and reincarnate. Why bother with such a pointless thing? Just as I was at a loss, the 2 male ghosts suddenly stopped laughing and simultaneously took a step back. I secretly rejoiced. Did they believe me? I immediately rolled up my sleeves, raised my fists. Now get lost, or else I'll tell Lord Impermanence to beat you up. The 2 ghosts looked at each other, then turned and ran. I breathed a sigh of relief. Just as I was about to turn around to comfort the old lady and tell her not to be afraid, I saw her standing a few meters away, holding Lucas's hand. Thank goodness for Lord Impermanence. Otherwise, I would have been bullied again. Me? When did Lucas arrive? He didn't hear everything I said, did he? Feeling a little embarrassed, I wanted to run away. I covered my face, slowly inching away, when I saw him raise his hand and point. You should also thank that girl. Yes, yes, yes. The old lady nodded repeatedly and ran over. Little girl, thank you. You're such a good ghost. You earned a good ghost card. I gave a forced smile. After the old lady left, Lucas walked towards me. I looked at the sky and the ground, just not at him. Lucas lowered his gaze to look at me. My girlfriend, did I misunderstand? Lord Impermanence. You don't like it. I won't call you that again. My toes scrunched the ground. I really couldn't stay there any longer. Lucas didn't press the issue, changing his tone. Why did you help her just now? Seeing an injustice. I stopped. I remembered my grandmother. I didn't know if it was because Lucas was so much my type, but I felt a particular urge to confide in him. After telling him about my grandmother, I shrugged a little awkwardly. That's how it is. Lucas was silent for a few seconds, then asked me, what was your grandmother's name? After I told him her name, a small notebook appeared in his hand. He lowered his head and flipped through the notebook. After a long while, a faint smile appeared on his face. Good news. He looked up at me. Your grandmother registered immediately after arriving in the Underworld. She received an early number card, didn't stay in the Underworld long, and has already reincarnated into a good family. I blinked, taking a few seconds to understand his words. As if a burden had been lifted, I let out a long sigh of relief. That's great! I looked at Lucas, my cheeks burning. Thank you. Lucas put away his notebook, crossed his arms, and leisurely looked at me. Oh, how will you thank me? His gaze seemed to materialize. I avoided his eyes, not daring to meet them. So I blurted out, another day, I'll treat you to incense and candles. My house is on fire. I have to go now. Goodbye, Lord Lucas. I turned and ran. After a few steps, I saw Lucas walking leisurely behind me. You, what are you doing? He laughed. I know how to put out fires. It's just a favor. No need to be polite. I paused. But that's not very convenient. Why isn't it convenient? I stammered. Chloe and I are two unmarried ghost girls. Lucas chuckled softly after hearing that. Then his expression suddenly turned serious. Song Wang, whose living soul did you bring to the Underworld after all? I was startled, looking up, despair welling up. Oh no, he really smelled it. In the small temporary apartment, Lucas and Simon stood side by side. They blocked the bathroom door, looking at Damon, whom Chloe and I had tormented until he no longer resembled a ghost. Chloe and I huddled in a corner, not daring to say a word. Are you two the managers here? Damon saw them. His eyes lit up, and he scrambled to his feet, grabbing Lucas's sleeve. These two bastards are illegally detaining me? Damn it, how could I die like this? It must be because these two played some ghostly tricks. You guys have to do something about this, right? Quickly, let me go home. Let me go home. His words were too offensive. Lucas and Simon simultaneously frowned. But Damon didn't notice. He only paid attention to Chloe and me, huddled in the corner. He thought we were scared because our actions had been exposed, so he began to become arrogant and smart. Don't one, I'm telling you, I don't regret running you over at all. I only regret not hitting you harder. Reporting me for solicitation? Where did you get the guts? I should have driven back and forth over you a few times, turning you into a mushy pulp. Didn't you see how miserably your parents cried? They were wailing your name beside the pool of blood on the ground. I flinched, my head aching as if a nail had been hammered into it. My parents had always been an existence I deliberately avoided. I didn't dare to think, nor could I imagine how great a shock my sudden death was to them. Now, Damon tore open the truth, laying it out bloody before me. My eyes turned red, staring at him. Damon sneered, wanting to say more, but Lucas beside him suddenly raised his leg, a kick sending him flying straight into the wall. Chloe and I stared in stunned silence. Medalchi. Lucas and Simon walked into the bathroom. Simon thoughtfully turned around and closed the door. We'll have a friendly chat with him. You two wait outside. As he spoke, he calmly took off his wristwatch. He smiled at us, then closed the door. Chloe, their expressions don't look friendly at all. Sure enough, the next second, clanking sounds came from the bathroom, accompanied by Damon's miserable pleas. Chloe, are they helping us vent our anger? I nodded blankly. Chloe pressed her ear to the door, eavesdropping, the smile on her face growing wider and wider. Oh my God! I want to see Simon seriously beat that scumbag so badly. He must look incredibly handsome, Lucas said. Damon's living soul cannot remain in the underworld. If it stays for more than 5 days, he won't be able to return. Once a living soul turns into a dead soul, and his name isn't in the underworld's book of life and death, the king of hell will definitely investigate. I'm fine, but I can't let Chloe risk it with me. Lucas, we have to go to the human world tonight. You two will come with us to return Damon's living soul. I nodded, then couldn't help but ask, aren't you going to report us? Aren't you a ghost messenger? Lucas crossed his arms, leaning against the wall, looking at me. In your heart, am I the type of person who makes a mountain out of a molehill? I shook my head. Lucas just smirked, and I mumbled softly, You're not human at all. You're a ghost messenger. The corner of his mouth twitched. Too lazy to talk to you. He turned and walked a few steps, then couldn't help but turn back. Don't let others know about this. It's nothing major. We'll solve it tonight. His voice paused. He tilted his head slightly, his expression softening a bit. Don't worry. Lucas's figure disappeared outside the door, and I finally came back to my senses. Was he comforting me just now? Oh my God. Chloe brought Simon back, saw me startled. Why is your face so red? Did Lucas slap you? The warmth that had just welled up in my heart quickly dissipated because of her comment. At the appointed time, Chloe and I led Damon, along with Lucas and Simon, and met at the entrance of Yellow Springs Road. Lucas said, let's go to the hospital. I was stunned. The hospital? Simon explained. Because you two hooked his soul. Damon is now in a state of suspended animation and is currently in the hospital's intensive care unit. I nodded. Our group moved very quickly. We arrived at the hospital before midnight. There weren't many people in the hospital, only 1 or 2 night shift nurses in the corridor. We led Damon to the room where his body was. Lucas didn't hesitate for a second, raising his leg and kicking Damon's soul back into his body. But there was no reaction. Simon said the body and the living soul need time to fuse. Let's go. Chloe said, oh, all right. I'll go with you. Deal. Are you usually tired at work? I'll help you tonight. Their voices gradually faded. Lucas came to my side. We should go too. Yes. I walked 2 steps, still a little worried, and turned to look back. Lucas noticed and asked me, are you worried about him? I couldn't help but roll my eyes. How could I be? I'm afraid that the fusion might have problems, and then the King of Hell's punishment would involve you. Oh, Lucas nodded. So you're worried about me. I swallowed, not saying anything more. He smiled. Don't worry. There won't be any problems. It's just that he's been in the Underworld for several days and suffered such great shock, so there will be some lingering effect. I'm interested. What kind of after effects? Lucas pointed his finger at his temple. There will be problems here, like, even if he's cured, he'll still drool. I was stunned, then overjoyed. Couldn't help but jump up and pump my fist in the air. Fantastic! That scumbag deserves it. Lucas chuckled softly. When we left the hospital, Chloe and Simon had disappeared. Opposite the hospital gate was a bus stop, surrounded by cherry blossom trees. The night wind blew, and cherry blossoms fell like rain. Under the street lights, they looked like butterflies fluttering. Many young people were taking photos under the trees. I looked twice more, about to say something to Lucas, when I saw him looking at the cluster of cherry blossoms on the other side, looking lost in thought. I stood silently beside him, hearing him say, "It's really good." "What is, sir?" "The weather is good. The scenery is beautiful. Life is good." My heart stirred slightly. "What was your life like back then?" "Back then, when you were alive?" Lucas was stunned for a few seconds, seemingly lost in some memory. Then he blinked and turned to look at me. "Do you want to know?" "Yes." "Then I'll take you to see." "What?" He didn't answer me, just turned and walked in a certain direction. I followed him. Lucas's figure was straight. The cherry blossoms didn't fall on him. It was strange, a little sad. I shook my head, dispelling that nameless strange feeling, and quickly followed. Unexpectedly, Lucas took me to a museum. He seemed very familiar with the place. He walked through 2 long corridors, then went up 2 more floors, finally entering a display room and stopping in front of an old photograph. He pointed to the outermost left corner of the photo, his voice soft with a hint of a smile. "Do you recognize me?" But looking at that photo, I was completely stunned. It was a very old photograph, with the caption below, taken in 1932. In the photo were several young, inexperienced youths wearing ill-fitting military uniforms, smiling a little awkwardly at the camera. I looked at where his finger was pointing. The young man only showed half of his profile, but I recognized Lucas immediately. He also looked at the photo. A few seconds later, He averted his gaze. He led me around the display room again and again. The display room wasn't large. It only took about 10 minutes to go through it once, but it contained memories of the era Lucas had lived in. By the third round, he stopped, a little embarrassed. It's boring, isn't it? No. I shook my head. It's just a bit heavy. Lucas, this was the first time I had called him by his name so seriously. You are truly admirable. Lucas paused, bowing his head slightly. I looked at that old photograph again, softly asking, how old were you then? 18, Lucas said. Dead at 19. My eyes suddenly stung, and tears streamed down uncontrollably. Lucas was startled, a little anxious. Don't cry. What's there to cry about? So many years have passed. Look, you guys live very well now, very happily. This proves that our sacrifice was meaningful. That's enough. The more he said that, the more I couldn't stop crying. Lucas looked at me and sighed softly. He walked over and let me lean my forehead on his shoulder. I cried until a large patch of his shirt was wet. Only then did I realize how rude I was. Let's go. I carefully pulled his sleeve. Lucas, I'll take you to see our life now. We went to see tall buildings, saw schools. We saw a family of 3 coming out of a movie theater. We saw men and women eating supper by the roadside, chatting animatedly. We saw couples kissing under cherry blossom trees. We saw many people smiling. Lucas sighed. Before, I was always on missions, rushing in and rushing out. So, is it thanks to me that you got a rare break tonight? Lucas chuckled. Song 1, you need to have a conscience. Who do you think Simon and I are working overtime for tonight? Finally, we stopped in front of an old residential complex. I stopped, not daring to go forward. Lucas stood in front, waiting for me. Lucas, why did you bring me here? Lucas said. Songwan, don't you want to go home and take a look? After all, it's always been on your mind. My heart stirred slightly, and my eyes began to sting again. Lucas walked over, took my hand, and led me towards the house. Come on, let's go see. I suddenly remembered something. What about Chloe? Simon already took her to her house. In a blink of an eye, he had led me to the front door of my house. Song 1. This is a privilege of us impermanence. It's not easily given to others. I was stunned. What? As soon as the words left my mouth, I saw Lucas raise his hand and lightly touch my forehead. A cold current rushed from the center of my forehead straight into my body. Lucas's complexion visibly worsened, but he still smiled. Your parents can see you now, only for 10 minutes. Song 1, say your goodbyes properly. I suddenly tensed up, my hands hanging loosely by my sides, clutching my clothes. Will I scare them? Lucas shook his head. But you are the daughter they begged to see in their dreams. How could they be scared? In the living room, Mother was still awake. She sat quietly on the sofa, clutching a thick photo album. The photo album had been carefully preserved by her for a long time. From my birth to learning to walk, starting school, performing arts, high school exams, college exams, graduation. In just over a month, Mother seemed to have aged a lot. Half of her hair had turned gray, and her complexion was terrifyingly worse. Father came out of the bedroom and slowly sat down beside her. Mother leaned on his shoulder, finally unable to hold back, and burst into uncontrollable sobs. Mr. Casual, casing all. Well, Dong, I miss our daughter so much. Father didn't say anything, but his eyes were also red. Had they been living like this every day for the past month? I was mocking at them, my voice trembling slightly. Dad, when I walked out of the house, stifled sobs came from inside. I wiped my tears, walked to Lucas's side. Let's go. Lucas didn't ask anything, but I couldn't help myself. Guess what I told them? Lucas was stunned. What? I said I met a very kind Lord Black Impermanence. He helped me see my parents and also helped me reincarnate into a good family. I said, I'm about to go and enjoy blessings. Lucas looked at me, seeming to want to speak, but didn't. I smiled. I know. You impermanents don't have good reincarnation slots. It's just rumors spread by those other ghosts. It's okay. I'm Song-Wang. I've accumulated good deeds my whole life. I can reincarnate into a good family on my own. But truly, as the day approached to drink the forgetfulness potion and reincarnate, I felt a little reluctant. Chloe had also been a bit sad these past few days. One, what do you think would happen if we stayed in the underworld and didn't reincarnate? We would be forcibly given the forgetfulness potion and pushed onto the bridge of helplessness. I already asked around. Ghosts who have registered cannot linger in the underworld. Chloe lay on the table, tapping her fingers on the tablet top. But I'm a little reluctant. Reluctant to leave Simon? Chloe nodded. She looked at me. You're also reluctant, aren't you? I scoffed. Me? How could I? Half a sentence choked in my throat, my mind immediately filled with Luca. I was also a little reluctant. Chloe and I looked at each other, then embraced, sobbing uncontrollably. Why are we so unlucky? Why did we meet charming, handsome guys right here in the underworld? What kind of bad luck is this? It's too gloomy. Boom, boom, boom. A knocking sound echoed. Chloe and I stopped crying. Opening the door, we saw Lucas and Simon. Simon looked at Chloe. Do you have time? I have something to tell you. Chloe nodded blankly. Oh, okay. She and Simon went out, leaving only Lucas and me in the room. I felt a little awkward, looking down at the ground. Is something wrong? Lucas said, your and Chloe's reincarnation time has been set. In 3 days. I was stunned, speechless for a moment. So fast? I looked at Lucas, feeling a little uncomfortable, but he seemed to be in a good mood. He pulled me to sit at the table, then waved his hand in mid-air, and the blurry scene appeared. 2 women were sitting in an ice cream parlor, eating ice cream. Both were pregnant, with gentle smiles. My husband doesn't let me eat this, but I've been craving it for ages. Eat it. I'll eat with you. A little bit won't hurt. Oh, right. Isn't your due date in 3 days? Mine might be 2 days later. These 2 babies will have a friend to play with as soon as they're born. I looked at that warm scene, stunned. This, Lucas said, is your and Chloe's mothers in your next life. They are best friends and also neighbors. Someone, congratulations. You can still be best friends with Chloe. In your next life. I blinked, suppressing the rising bitterness, and turned to look at Lucas. Is this also a privilege of impermanence? Lucas smiled faintly, not saying anything. But I knew he and Simon must have put in a lot of effort for this. Looking at his face, I couldn't hold back anymore, and lunged forward, hugging him tightly. Hugging his neck, I stammered, "Thank you, Lucas. I'm a little reluctant to leave you." "How about Chloe and I stay? No one will find out." Lucas said, "No." I knew it was not allowed, which made me even sadder. "I was just saying that." Lucas laughed. He pulled me away from him. "What I mean is, you and Chloe cannot stay because Simon and I's terms are also almost up. We'll also reincarnate next year. If you two stay, what will we do?" I took a few seconds to process his words, then widened my eyes. You guys aren't replaced only once every 100 years. It hasn't been 100 years yet. We have good performance, so we can apply for early reincarnation. That's great. I lunged to hug him again. This time, there was no longer the shyness of an unmarried ghost girl. Hugging Lucas's neck, I rubbed against him. "Lucas, will we meet again in our next life?" "Definitely." On the day I drank the forgetfulness potion and reincarnated with Chloe, she held my hand tightly and said, "Let me tell you something." "What?" Simon said that when Charles went to the hospital to visit Damon, Damon suddenly had a breakdown, grabbed a fruit knife, and stabbed Charles. Charles was Chloe's ex-boyfriend. Charles and Damon were college classmates and knew each other. Chloe suppressed a laugh. Now Charles is still in the hospital. It seems he was stabbed right there. Serves him right. I almost burst out laughing. The cycle of karma. Who will heaven forgive? Simon also said something else. I turned my head. What? But Chloe's figure was gone. Looking towards the bridge of helplessness, Chloe was already standing on the bridge, waving at me. He said, "Whoever reincarnates first, that person will be the older sister in the next life. Song 1, I'm going first." With that, she jumped straight down the bridge of helplessness to reincarnate. You're kidding me. She wants to take advantage of me even with this. Bonus story. My name is Tina Wan. Today is my 5th birthday. Early in the morning, my neighbor, Lena Ka, knocked on my door. She's my best friend, but she was born a day before me. Every day, she calls herself my older sister. And I don't concede. "Tina Wan, wake up quickly. I brought you a present." Pulling the door open, Lena Ka rushed straight into my room. I looked at her empty hands, frowning. "Where's my present?" She lay on my bed. "I am your present. Tina Wan. I'll let you be my older sister for one day. Who wants that?" I rushed over and shook her shoulders. "Where's my present? Where's my present? It's at home." "I'll take you to get it later. First, I'm taking you somewhere." "Where?" She pulled me downstairs. "Earlier, I saw that your next-door neighbor seems to have new people moving in." "Oh, they're my neighbors too." "Let's go check it out." Indeed, several cars were parked in front of the next-door house, and people were unloading belongings. We climbed from our yard onto the fence, looking over. Lena Ka exclaimed in surprise. Tina One, look! They have twins who look quite similar. Why is one dark-skinned and one pale? I clung to the fence, staring blankly into the yard. Two boys were squatting on the ground, playing with toy cars. I didn't know if Lena Ka's voice was too loud, attracting their attention. They looked up. I looked at the darker-skinned boy and instinctively waved. Hello. He smiled at me. He smiled, and I smiled back. My hands lost their strength, and I fell from the fence. Lena Ka jumped down after me. That pale boy is so cute. The darker-skinned boy is cuter. The pale one is cuter. The darker-skinned one is cuter. Tina One, your eyes have problems. Lena Ka, your eyes have problems. The end and the end.